Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. We're here at the Steinway & Sons Piano Gallery over on the west side of Madison. We're going to talk with Tom later on in the program about how it's never too late in life to learn something new. So we're excited about that. And speaking of learning, we're talking about books now in this segment. We're joined now by John Christensen from Arcadia Books out in Spring Green. How are you, John?
I'm great. Thanks for having us back.
Absolutely. I always love the books that you bring and the topics that you have to discuss. Let's talk a little bit about some changes that Arcadia Books may happen during the summertime.
Well, you know, I mean, summer is really when Spring Green kind of comes alive. You know, we're starting to see that now. American Players Theater is beginning to, have the rehearsal period. So a whole bunch of actors and other wonderful people are coming to town. Their season starts in June. That brings tens of thousands of people to the village every month. Taliesin, the Frank Lloyd Wright place, is giving tours. All those things really bring so much activity and so much vibrancy that we're just happy to be a part of, and we're glad for that when people come out that they can stop by and see us, because we're right in the heart of it.
So we can expect more traffic in Arcadia Books.
Absolutely. Yep. And we're really happy to be a part of people's visits out to Spring Green. So.
Yep.
Oh, John, I've been to the bookshop. It's adorable, first I have to say. So I love being in there. Of course you have the books, but you also have food. And so if folks are going to American Players Theater, they can stop in for a meal maybe?
Absolutely. We have lunch every single day, all 7 days a week, and we have dinner service with a kind of a roving special. That's Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we're going to be adding more days for that as we get closer to the height of summer, and people can check that out on our website, see what's happening. But there's always something delicious to have.
Yeah, it smells delicious when you go in the bookstore.
Yeah. So you can look at it two ways: either stop in for a good read and maybe have a meal while you're at it, or stop in for a good meal and maybe check out some books.
That's right. We have something to fill your time, whatever you're doing.
Fill your time or your tummy.
That's right.
How about that?
That's right.
There we go.
That's right.
So let's talk a little bit about author appearances.
Sure.
Because every now and then you host some authors. Any appearances coming up that we should know about?
Well, we've got a couple coming up at the end of May. A fascinating book about the boundary waters up in northern Minnesota and Michigan. We have a whole variety of other folks' books for the summer. It changes constantly, so the best thing to do is to look at our website, which is readinutopia.com or arcadiabooks.net if you can't remember Reading Utopia, and there's a full events calendar there, but we have a wide variety of folks coming up for adults and kids, fiction, nonfiction, and the whole calendar's there on the site.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
One of the things that I like about your store actually takes me back to the days of video stores where employees would have their picks of videos.
Right, yes.
Yeah, you do a similar sort of thing where the employees will say what they thought about a particular book. I'm wondering what you're liking these days.
Well, I brought a couple things that we're excited about. This first book, Paris by the Book, is a novel. It's by a Wisconsin author. It's set a little bit in Wisconsin. It starts off as kind of a mystery. A young mother, her husband, who's a novelist, kind of takes off, and she finds airplane tickets to Paris and doesn't know what happened, and she ends up going to France with her family, and through a complicated set of things ends up buying a little bookshop in France. So it's kind of a fantasy about Paris and loving books and things like that. It's really engaging and really surprised me. I didn't expect it to be what it ended up being. So we're really enjoying that a lot.
And a little touch of Wisconsin in there.
Absolutely.
I've read books like that. it's more fun than I thought to be reading about things that you're familiar with.
Right. Yeah. It absolutely does. And then in terms of nonfiction, this is the newest book by Mark Kurlansky. He's written books on salt and cod. He writes these kind of one-word title books about food, and his new book is on milk. And what he always does so interestingly, is to give you not just a scientific look, but a cultural look, at a product. And so he talks a lot in here about the history of I guess, of fermentation, as a way of preserving things, which milk has a complicated history with pasteurization. So there's all kinds of interesting stories, but but it's so engaging. Anybody who's interested in dairy farming ought to read this.
So I know Mother's Day's gone, but I'm thinking Mom and Dad.
Could well be, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And what do we have here? What is this bigger one?
Oh, this one, this is, we have, I was just counting, we have almost 10,000 books in the store. And so every now and then I'll just sort of see something on the shelf that I hadn't looked at in a while. And this book's a couple years old, but I remember it's so wonderful for families. It's a book about animals and plants with a lot of information and facts and really unusual drawings, but it's just a great thing for families to take some time together for any kid who's interested in learning more about animals, plants, and the world that they are in.
Okay, so Mom, Dad, and me.
Yeah,
this one's mine.
there you go. So yeah, so we have books for everybody, and we're happy to see everybody whenever they come in.
Awesome, awesome. Well, you have such a good variety over there and great food too. And John, we always appreciate you coming on, giving us an education.
Always happy to be here. Thanks, guys.
John Christensen's joined us from Arcadia Books out in Spring Green. Head on out there. Traffic's going to be heavy inside the bookstore anyway, come summertime. We'll be right back with more Wisconsin Family after the break.